This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You are watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
So over the next few weeks, I fully expect 3 of the major sanctioning bodies to order Anthony Joshua into final eliminators, i.e. mandatory and interim positions. With the WBC, of course, now Wilder has lost. They haven't released their new rankings yet, but I would imagine that based on the current rankings, it will be Anthony Joshua number 1 and Frank Sanchez number 2. So I expect the WBC to order that fight to fight the winner of Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. Granted, the WBC may even keep Wilder at number 1. You know what they're like. They've been wrapping that guy in cotton wool, protecting him for a long, long time. Keeping him at number 1 for so long was just ridiculous. But that's the WBC, and that's what I fully expect them to do. Anthony Joshua versus Frank Sanchez. With the IBF, we all know about that situation. Filip Hrgovic is the mandatory challenger, and should the loser of Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk activate the rematch, then that would mean that the IBF will be stripped for their second fight. That means that Filip Hrgovic will fight for the vacant title against the next in line, which was Otto Wallin beforehand. Joshua's beaten him, so now he's number 2. So I fully expect the IBF to order Filip Hrgovic versus Anthony Joshua. Also, when it comes to the WBA, well, Martin Bakole is now number 1, again, because Wilder lost, and Anthony Joshua number 2. So I fully expect the WBA to order Martin Bakole versus Anthony Joshua, again, for a final eliminator. Now, Ben Shalom, the CEO for Boxer, has actually spoken about that WBA situation with Martin Bakole, and this is what he had to say. The aim for Martin is to fight early in the year and continue his impressive run. I'm looking forward to seeing him fully fit when he will look even more devastating. Of course, Anthony Joshua is number 2 in the WBA rankings, and so it would make sense that the fight be ordered and Martin would be ready. Martin remains the most avoided heavyweight in the world, and his recent performances have only added to that. We're looking forward to a big year for Martin, who will inevitably fight for a world title in the not-so-distant future. Ben Shalom's statement. Now, is he the most avoided heavyweight out there? Listen, I'm sure he's avoided by quite a few. But again, there are heavyweights out there who said that they'll fight Bakole, like a Michael Hunter, like a Filip Hrgovic, and quite a few others. And for one reason or another, nothing ever materialised, so I don't really know. But either way, I fully expect the WBA to order that one too. Now, as far as the WBA situation, Bakole versus Joshua, or Joshua versus Bakole, however which way around you want to have it, apparently Manuel Charr ducked Martin Bakole. Again, that's according to Martin Bakole's trainer and manager in Billy Nelson. Apparently Manuel Charr was offered a 7-figure payday, i.e. 1 million plus, to fight Martin Bakole for that WBA regular World Heavyweight Championship. Apparently Manuel Charr turned it down, which for me is ridiculous. The WBA should be ordering that fight. Charr to defend that title against the next in line, which is Martin Bakole. Shouldn't even need to be offers. Okay. Anyway, that said, but the WBA is up last. So I wouldn't expect to see Joshua versus Bakole, because why wait for another 18 months, maybe even 2 years? If I'm Bakole, I'm looking at a different route as well outside the WBA. I really am, because obviously the WBA have only just had their mandatory, which was Darren Dubois, which is why he took on Alexander Usyk. So I don't expect that fight to happen. But the fight for Anthony Joshua, well, he's got options, doesn't he? He could go the Martin Bakole WBA route if he wants, but you're just waiting around for that one while you're waiting for 3 other sanctioning bodies to sort themselves out. Why do that? The IBF with Filip Hrgovic, that will probably be the quickest route for Joshua to get back into title contention, albeit Filip Hrgovic, of course, is a very tricky customer, very tough guy as well. So would he want that one? Maybe. Or maybe he'd want the WBC, i.e. by fighting Frank Sanchez. But it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't for Joshua, because if he chooses Hrgovic and not Bakole or Sanchez, then Joshua's ducking Bakole and Sanchez. If he chooses Sanchez, then he's ducking Hrgovic and Bakole. If he chooses Bakole, then he's ducking Hrgovic and Sanchez. So he's never going to win, is he? So the only thing you can do is see what makes the most business sense, what gets him the title when he wants the title, and all that kind of good stuff. But regardless, IBF is probably the quickest route, but the other ones probably mean that Joshua will end up having a final eliminator against whoever, and then at some point end up fighting a Fury or an Usyk, because Fury and Usyk are not going to have any voluntaries for quite some time. So if Joshua wants back in for a third fight with Usyk or to have a fight with Tyson Fury, he's going to have to grab one of those other sanctioning bodies. Make sense? Anyway, let's see what happens. Drop your thoughts below, click thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you next video.